The door to my office swung open with a mocking creak, and there he stood, Ethan Hargrove, the CEO's spoiled progeny, his smug grin slicing through the air like a dull blade. "Hey, buddy," he said, tossing a cardboard box onto my desk, the thud echoing against the glass walls that had once framed my empire of spreadsheets and late-night victories. "Dad said this is my space now. Pack up your crap and scram to the cubicle farm." My blood turned to ice, then fire, a visceral punch to the gut that left me gasping inwardly. 10 years of clawing my way up Hargrove Industries, sacrificing weekends, relationships, my goddamn health, and this? Humiliation wrapped in nepotism's bow. I stared at the box, its flaps yawning like a grave, and felt the first tremor of rage uncoil in my chest, a serpent awakening from slumber. I forced a nod, my jaw clenched so tight I thought my teeth might shatter. "Sure, Ethan. Whatever the boss wants." My voice was steady, but inside a storm brewed. Heartbreak for the loyalty I'd poured into this place, resentment for the man who'd promised me the world only to hand it to his idiot son. As I began shoving files into the box, the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry hornets, the scent of stale coffee and printer ink suddenly suffocating. Ethan lounged against the doorframe, scrolling his phone, oblivious to the seismic shift he'd just triggered. But I wasn't. In that moment, denial flickered. Maybe it was a joke, a test of my resolve. Whoa. This was real. And as I carried the box down the hall, past whispering colleagues whose pitying glances burned like acid, the fantasies began. Ethan's face crumpling under my fist, the CEO's empire crumbling to dust. Justice. Or something darker. By the time I dumped the box into my new cubicle, a gray-walled prison squeezed between the copy machine and the water cooler, the anger had morphed into obsession. I sat there, staring at the blank computer screen, my reflection a ghost of the executive I'd been. Mark Hargrove, the CEO, had mentored me from day one, pulling me from obscurity with promises of partnership. "You're like the son I never had," he'd said once, over whiskey in his corner office, the city lights twinkling below like fallen stars. All of it. His real son, Ethan, fresh from failing out of business school, waltzed in and claimed my throne. Heartbreak clawed at me. Had I been nothing but a placeholder? I replayed every late-night strategy session, every deal I'd closed that fattened Hargrove's pockets. Resentment festered, a poison seeping into my veins. That night, in my dim apartment, the city's hum filtering through cracked windows, I paced the worn carpet, the taste of cheap bourbon bitter on my tongue. Doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Ethan was just a kid, 25 and clueless. His father's shadow swallowing him whole. But no, Mark had chosen this. Betrayal in a boardroom suit. I imagined confronting him, my voice steady. "After everything, this is how you repay me." But fear held me back. The mortgage, the alimony payments to my ex-wife, who I'd lost to this very job. Moral conflict twisted like a knife. Revenge would make me no better than them, right? Yet the obsession grew, roots digging deep. I pulled out my laptop, fingers hovering over the keys. What if I could expose them? Subtle hints, perhaps. A leaked email here, a whispered rumor there. The plan formed in fragments, born of cold resolve amid the chaos of emotion. The next morning, the office thrummed with its usual rhythm. Phones ringing, keyboards clacking, the distant whir of the elevator like a heartbeat. I kept my head down in the cubicle, but my eyes darted to my old office, now Ethan's domain. Through the glass, I watched him swivel in my chair, feet on the desk, laughing at some meme on his screen. Humiliation surged anew, a hot flush creeping up my neck. Sarah, my former assistant, now reassigned to him, brought him coffee, her smile forced. She'd been with me for years, a confidant in the trenches. As she passed my cubicle, our eyes met. "This is bullshit, Alex," she whispered, leaning in, her perfume a faint floral note against the sterile air. "Mark's losing it. Ethan's already screwing up the Thompson deal." I nodded, suppressing the urge to grab her arm and spill everything. "Yeah, well, what can we do?" But inside, gears turned. Sarah could be an ally. Her resentment mirrored mine, layered with her own frustrations. She'd confided once about Mark's wandering hands at company parties, a secret she'd buried for her job. Manipulation, perhaps, but justice demanded tools. That afternoon, during lunch in the break room, the microwave humming as it reheated forgotten leftovers, I cornered her. Sarah, hypothetically. If someone wanted to dig into the company's finances, where would they start? My voice was casual, but my pulse raced, fear of exposure mingling with excitement. She paused, fork midway to her mouth, her eyes narrowing. Why ask me? Suspense hung between us, the clock ticking like a bomb. Then she sighed, glancing around. The secure server. But you'd need admin access. And Alex. Don't do anything stupid. Her words were a warning, but her tone held a spark of complicity. Guilt gnawed at me. Dragging her in could ruin her too. Yet the betrayal fueled me. Back at my desk, I logged in with my demoted credentials, probing the edges of the network. Nothing yet. But the seed was planted. That evening, as rain pattered against my window, blurring the neon lights outside, I sketched a plan on a napkin. Access records. Find dirt. Strike quietly. Days blurred into a slow burn of tension. The office air grew thicker, charged with unspoken grievances. Colleagues avoided me, their conversations halting when I approached, the rustle of papers and muffled laughs a constant reminder of my fall. Inner conflict raged. Part of me yearned for normalcy, to swallow the pill and move on. But resentment won out. One night, alone in the office after hours, the fluorescent strips casting long shadows like prison bars, I hacked a low-level access point. Not unlawful, not yet, just bending rules I'd helped write. Files scrolled by. Expense reports, emails. Then a folder marked personal. My heart pounded, the mouse cursor trembling under my grip. Inside, transfers to Ethan's account, labeled as consulting fees. Hundreds of thousands. Embezzlement. Or just favoritism. Obsession gripped me. This was it, the crack in their armor. But doubt whispered. What if it was legitimate? Moral grayness loomed. Mark had built this company from nothing. Maybe he deserved to spoil his son. Well, I built it too. As I copied files to a hidden drive, the building's HVAC system groaned like a dying beast, amplifying my paranoia. Footsteps echoed in the hall, security. I froze, breath shallow, the screen's glow illuminating my sweat-slicked face. False alarm. Relief washed over me, tainted by guilt. This wasn't me, the loyal soldier turned saboteur. Yet the fantasies evolved. Not violence but ruin. Financial, reputational. Cold resolve hardened. Sarah noticed the change, her brows furrowing during our stolen chats in the supply closet, the scent of toner cartridges cloying. You look like shit, Alex. What's going on? Her concern felt genuine, but I sensed her own motives. Perhaps leverage for a raise or escape from Ethan's incompetence. Just adjusting, I lied, my voice tight. Tension built, subtle hints dropping. An anonymous tip to HR about irregularities, worded vaguely to avoid fingerprints. The office buzzed with rumors, whispers like static electricity. Ethan grew irritable, slamming doors. His laughter replaced by curt orders. Mark called a meeting. His face lined with stress, the conference room's polished table reflecting our strained expressions. Listen up, he barked, his voice gravelly from years of cigars, the room smelling faintly of his cologne, musk and entitlement. Someone's stirring shit. If I find out who. His eyes scanned, lingering on me a beat too long. Suspense coiled, my palms slick. Did he suspect? Inner turmoil peaked. Fear of discovery clashing with the thrill of impending justice. I met his gaze, neutral, but inside resentment boiled. This man, once a father figure, now a betrayer. As the meeting ended, Ethan pulled me aside in the hall. His breath reeking of energy drinks. Dad thinks it's you, man. Back off. His threat was laughable, but it ignited fury. Or what? I shot back, voice low, suppressed rage leaking through. He smirked, but uncertainty flickered in his eyes. You'll regret it. As he walked away, his footsteps echoing on the marble floor, the plan solidified. No more hints. Time for action. That night in my apartment, the storm outside mirroring my chaos, I delved deeper into the files. Offshore accounts, tax evasion, Mark's hidden empire. Guilt faded. This was bigger than my office. Obsession consumed me. Sleep evaded, dreams filled with crumbling boardrooms. Moral conflict lingered. Was I a hero or a villain? But betrayal's sting propelled me. The retaliation loomed, quiet and strategic, building toward the inevitable explosion. The email landed in my inbox at midnight, anonymous but traceable to a dummy account I'd set up. Check the attachments. Hargrove's secrets. I'd sent it to the board, the press, even the IRS, a digital avalanche poised to bury them. But as I hit send, doubt crashed over me like a wave, cold and unrelenting. What if innocence suffered? Jobs lost, families ruined. Guilt twisted my gut, the apartment's silence deafening, broken only by the distant wail of sirens. Yet resentment overrode it all. Mark's betrayal had stripped me bare. Now I'd strip him. Heartbreak for the man I'd idolized morphed into cold resolve. No turning back. The next day, the office erupted in controlled chaos. Phones rang incessantly, the air thick with tension, the scent of burnt coffee from overworked machines. Colleagues huddled in clusters, voices hushed, eyes darting. Sarah caught me by the elevator, her face pale, lipstick slightly smudged. Alex, what the hell? The board's in emergency session. Mark's furious. Her whisper carried accusation, but also a glint of admiration. Or was it fear? I don't know what you're talking about, I replied, my heart hammering, the elevator's ding punctuating the lie. Inner conflict raged. This was justice, right? But the moral grayness haunted. Revenge's double edge. Mark summoned me to his office. The top-floor sanctum with panoramic views now shrouded in blinds, the room dim and oppressive. He sat behind his massive desk, papers scattered like battlefield debris. His tie askew. Sit, he commanded, voice a low rumble. As I complied, the leather chair creaking under me, suspense built. The air charged, his cologne now cloying, mixed with sweat. You think I don't know it's you? His eyes bored into mine, layered with hurt, anger, perhaps regret. Complex motivations surfaced. He'd built this for his family, Ethan included. But I'd been family too, or so I'd thought. Know what? I feigned innocence, but my voice cracked, obsession's fire flickering. He slammed a fist on the desk, the thud reverberating. The leaks. The goddamn audits incoming. Dialogue revealed his desperation. I gave you everything, Alex. Why? Raw emotion spilled. His resentment toward Ethan's failures. His guilt for favoring blood over merit. You were supposed to understand. Heartbreak mirrored mine. He saw me as a betrayer now. But fury surged. You gave my office to your screw-up son. After 10 years. Suppressed rage erupted, words like bullets. You used me. He leaned back, deflated, the city's hum faint through the windows. Ethan needed a chance. I thought you'd get it. Moral complexity deepened. He wasn't a monster, just a flawed father. But betrayal's scar ran deep. As I left, his parting words hung. You'll pay for this. Tension escalated. Quiet calculation giving way to fear. What if he struck first? That afternoon, Ethan cornered me in the parking garage, the concrete echoing our footsteps, shadows lengthening like accusations. You ruined everything, asshole. His voice trembled, revealing vulnerability. A kid out of his depth, manipulated by his father's expectations. I faced him, adrenaline pumping, the cool air raising goosebumps. Your dad did that himself. Dialogue heightened suspense. Stay away, or I'll make sure you never work again. His threat was hollow, but it ignited doubt. Consequences loomed. Back home, paranoia set in. Was that car following me? The phone's ring startled, an unknown number. Heiress. Or Mark's lawyers. Obsession peaked, plans fracturing under pressure. I confided in Sarah over encrypted texts, her responses laced with caution. This is getting dangerous, Alex. Back out. But her own motives emerged. She'd fed me intel, hoping to climb amid the fallout. Layered alliances. The climax built slowly, a storm gathering. News broke. Hargrove Industries under investigation, stocks plummeting. The office emptied early, whispers turning to shouts. I watched from my cubicle, guilt mingling with triumph. The sensory chaos of slamming doors, frantic typing, the metallic tang of fear. Inner thoughts raced. Was this poetic justice? Or destruction for destruction's sake? Mark called another meeting. His face ashen, the conference room's lights harsh, casting gaunt shadows. We're fighting this, he declared, but his voice wavered. Eyes turned to me, suspicion palpable. Tension crested. Would they expose me? Then the twist. Ethan burst in, red-faced, brandishing a tablet. It was him. Logs show Alex accessed the files. Shock rippled, my denial ready. Fabricated. But Mark's gaze held betrayal's mirror. Heartbreak for us both. Chaos ensued. Security escorted me out, the hallway a blur of faces, the elevator's descent like falling into abyss. Outside, rain lashed the streets, soaking me, the cold seeping into bones. Freedom. Or ruin. As I walked away, phone buzzing with alerts, company collapsing, Mark resigning, unexpected consequences hit. Sarah's text. I'm next. Thanks a lot. Guilt crashed, moral conflict resolved in regret. Yet in the downpour, a cold resolve lingered. I'd taken everything. Not just the office but their empire. Poetic justice. Perhaps. But the psychological impact scarred me too. Obsession faded, leaving hollow victory. The betrayal avenged, but at what cost? As lightning cracked the sky, illuminating the city's fractured skyline, I wondered, was I the villain after all? The story ended not in triumph, but in the quiet echo of morally gray choices, suspense yielding to somber reflection.